A man placed a nail on the forehead of a paper figure and then forcefully hammered it down. But in John's eyes, the paper figure started bleeding. Upon closer inspection, it wasn't a paper figure at all, but a living, breathing girl. With each nail hammered in, the girl let out a heart-wrenching scream. After the paper figure was struck with 7 nails, a few men lifted it into a coffin, not forgetting to seal it with talismans. It seemed that this paper figure was indeed somewhat eerie. The butler, noticing John's unease, suggested that he join the funeral procession, saying that the master could perform an exorcism for him during the burial. Suddenly, a beggar rushed out to block their path. He frantically opened the coffin, and people noticed that he was pushing a wheelchair, which also had a paper figure on it. The master, feeling extremely irritated, threw the paper figure on the ground and stomped on it repeatedly. Little did he know that in the beggar's eyes, the paper figure was actually alive, and blood was flowing on the ground. Before long, the funeral procession reached the burial ground. However, John felt as if something was around him. Turning his head, he saw the girl from earlier staring at him, smiling. Terrified, John fled from the procession and ran back the way they had come. Gradually, John realized he was lost. Fortunately, he spotted a figure in the distance. John hurried over to ask for directions. When the figure turned around, John was so frightened that he ran away in a panic. No matter how far he ran, he always ended up back where he started. Even more terrifying, dozens of paper figures suddenly appeared around him, all staring intently at him. John could only keep running desperately, but every time he looked back, the paper figures remained relentlessly behind him. Finally, John slipped, and the paper figures immediately surrounded him. A girl's voice echoed in his ears, revealing that these paper figures wanted John to help them draw eyes on their faces. However, drawing eyes on paper figures is a major taboo. For some reason, John eventually drew eyes for them. This is a Chinese horror movie called Paper Figure Resurrection.